Are you looking to buy or sell real estate? You've got questions. We've got answers. Welcome to the show, It's Gonna Be Great, featuring Matt and Jen from Home Team For You. And now, with a little bit of further ado, it's Matt and Jen! Hey guys, this is Jacob, the producer of It's Gonna Be Great, here with a little bit of an update about this podcast. We had some trouble with some of the audio and video in the early part of the episode, so we lost a few minutes of it. So it starts a little abruptly, so let me catch you up to speed with what's going on. In today's episode, we have a special guest, Roger Stauter, from Home Team For You. Roger is also Jen's father. Roger's been in the real estate game for his entire career. He's also a professional public speaker, and he's done over 300 lectures and speeches across the country. So the show starts with him reciting some of his little anecdotes and thoughts and motivational quotes that he has used in some of his speeches and lectures. So if you want to get motivated and pumped up, that's how we're going to start. We're going to move into the episode later on where I will actually be talking a little bit about my experiences as a first-time home buyer and the emotional roller coaster that goes with that. So this is a really good episode. Lots to listen to and unpack. So without any more delay, enjoy the rest of this show.
Edit, and that if doesn't guarantee, it certainly increases the odds of your succeeding.
I think mindset's huge.
Mindset, yeah. It also goes back to, I think, beginning is half done. Get going on something and stick with it and come up with a plan. Number 9, whatever it takes.
That's the attitude that you are going to get it done. You need to, in the real estate business, in the selling business, you get a listing and you have to stick with it, and whatever it takes, get it done.
I'm waiting for the next line to be "Just do it, Nike."
Oh, I was going to say, whatever it takes is the slogan in Avengers.
Whatever it takes, that's right.
Well, they recycled it from Raj.
Yep. They must have taken your seminar.
Now I got to count these words. 1, 2, 3, 4. Never, 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 never give up.
That is from Winston Churchill, who was speaking to a college graduation class in England, and he got up to the podium, paused for a long time, said, never, 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 never give up. And he turned around and went back and sat on his chair. That was his speech.
Number 11, people see the world not as, stop moving, not as it is.
Scroll a little bit.
Huh?
I got to scroll.
All right, let me start over. 11, people see the world not as it is, but as they are. That's deep.
It's deep.
Yeah, that's pretty deep. People distort reality, and they need some correction. We all need some correction sometimes, and it's important to know where to get it and how to give it to people who need it.
This next one might be my favorite. Number 12, if it were easy, why would they pay you?
Yes, that's an excellent one. I picked that up from Bill Gove, who was a professional speaker and kind of my mentor, and I gave a speech in the Panhandle of Florida, and it was a bunch of educators, as I recall. It was a noon luncheon, and they introduced me before the meal was finished, which you don't want as a professional. Anytime.
All the dishes are being cleared and they're eating.
So I was doing okay, and the meal was finished, and here come the waiters back there clearing the table. Clang, clang, bang, bang, want more coffee. And I said, from the platform, which I've never done before, I said, could the waiters perhaps wait until we finish the presentation? And they did not speak English, so they had just continued.
Just kept going.
They just kept going. So I called my mentor, Bill Gove, and told him how sad the situation was and what a tragic speech it was. And he said, if it were easy, why would they pay you?
Reality check.
Yeah.
Number 13, count your blessings.
There is an old hymn that says, count your blessings, name them one by one. Count your many blessings, you will see what God has done. I forget the rest of it, but I guess that's enough of it.
Yeah.
Right?
Could you sing it for us?
I do like the next one too. Number 14, cows don't give milk, you take it from them.
That is true. That's kind of the essence of getting things done. It's up to you to be the actor, and if you're waiting for it to happen, it ain't going to happen.
If it were easy, everybody would do it.
That's right.
Number 15, be a volunteer.
People need to have something that is meaningful to them, something that they do out of the goodness of their heart, and that makes them a better and a more effective person in other areas of their life too.
Yep, different experiences that way.
Yep.
Number 16, first seek to understand, then be understood.
That is an excellent idea throughout all areas of life. People want to say what they think, what they have to offer, what their opinion is, and you may not be effective because you have not first heard what the other person has to say. And certainly, if you are selling houses, you have to find out what people want. And that's something that will develop as you go along. People don't just come in with a prescription as to what they want. You have to listen to them and let it evolve.
I'd like to add a 16A to this, which is what I use for your grandkids. Listen with your ears, not your mouth. Can I make it 20? Actually, maybe they make that 21 instead of 16A.
Pretty sure my dad told me that a few times.
And kind of a baseball reference, or Jen's, this is kind of my area, but success is a numbers game.
Yeah, you have to keep at it. If you had a couple of sales last week, you need a couple of more this week. If you had a hit in baseball yesterday or a couple of hits, doesn't do you any good today. You need to get some more hits. It's the repetition, the consistency that makes you a skilled performer.
Number 18, we must all hang together, or we will surely hang separately.
This is what Benjamin Franklin said during the Revolutionary War. We must all hang together, or we will hang separately.
What does that mean to you, Jen?
He meant it literally.
Yeah, I know.
I don't know any other way to take that.
Yeah, well.
Number 19. Moving right along. Number 19, people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care.
That comes from Zig Ziglar, who was a great professional speaker for many years, and just relating to people. It's so true. If they know that you really are caring for them, if you're trying to help them, there is certainly a suspicion. Anytime you, as a salesperson, are dealing with people, well, this guy's just trying to make a buck off of me. And so if you can demonstrate and exude a sense of concern for the person you're working with, it's super important.
I think people feel that too.
Yep.
And it's not just in real estate. I know we've had the experience with car salespeople where you can tell that they don't really care, just get you in and out. And it's it's not. I think just it's a conscious effort that all salespeople have to make to not just look to sell the house, but help.
I mean, when you are in sales, you're really aware when people are just, selling you and they're selling you too hard.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I had one person ask me once, like, why don't you want to buy it? And they were like really, really pushing. And I was kind of like, well, it's kind of you, like you're turning me off. Like you're trying to trick me and no. So, I mean, I think we all kind of understand that.
If you're selling houses to people, you have to be patient with people because you can ask people in the beginning what they want, but
They don't know.
They don't know. They maybe have a vague idea. They may not. They probably know what they don't want. But you have to let that evolve, and you have to help them find out what they really want.
I think our first house, the only requirement was,
That it have a dishwasher and a garage.
and we did not get the dishwasher.
We got the garage though.
We got the garage.
Mm-hmm.
Second house was the dishwasher.
Mm-hmm.
We upgraded to the dishwasher version.
Yeah, but I mean, I came from a place where we didn't have a garage, so I was like, woohoo! Garage is the best. So it's the little things.
Number 20, the last one. Lots of people have the will to win. What sets the winners apart is the will to prepare.
That's a quotation from Bobby Knight, the great basketball coach at Indiana University, and that is certainly true. Just wanting to win, having the desire to win, you got to put in the work.
Think you prepared on how far to throw a chair?
Yeah,
I knew that was coming.
Mm-hmm.
You're welcome. Practice that.
If we, hearing you talk about how first-time buyers or buyers don't necessarily know and we have to be patient, I know Jacob's kind of dipped his foot a little bit, thinking about maybe purchasing and just kind of how it is. You don't have to know all of the answers. It's something that evolves with the process. So can you talk a little bit about your experience so far?
Put me on the spot here. Yeah, for sure.
Surprise.
Well, so my story is that, I've been thinking of buying a house for a while. And then this week, there was a few weeks ago, there was a house that was perfect. At least from the outside, it was perfect. Best
He might have
location.
stocked it.
Oh,
A couple times.
I stocked it. Yeah, the homeowners would see me and go, "What is
The
going
backyard,
on?" Oh yeah, no, I stocked
crawling
it.
around.
Anyhow, it was gone in an instant because this market, these houses are gone in an instant. And anyhow, so I gave up on it, and then on Monday, it came back on the market, and so
That's a sign.
I freaked out. I was like, "Oh my gosh, let's go, Matt, Jen, help me!" So I went to go see it, and I'll just say I don't know what I want. I went into the house, and the one thing that it had is it had a pool, and that's why I wanted it. I wanted the pool, but then I went in and I saw the house, and I didn't get this vibe of this is where I want to live, and
We should chronicle all this for you, just to train people what the emotional roller coaster is going through.
It is an emotional roller
process.
coaster.
It is. I mean,
Because you want it, but you're like, but I
Yes.
don't want it.
we had a long conversation, my wife and I, afterwards about whether or not we were going to have this house. And the whole time it was really me just thinking can I sacrifice? Can I put up with all of these things I don't like? But then I switched it in my mind, and I was like, if there wasn't a pool, would I want this house at all? And I was like, no,
Yeah.
I wouldn't live here at all. And that was it. And I was like, okay, I'm done. But then it just got me going. Now I'm here. Now I'm on the house hunt. What do I want? I don't know how to find it. And you guys have been super patient. And you just,
I know.
I mean, you just explain the facts, and it's just, but it's
It's a process.
it's a
That,
process. It is. It's
that
Now,
roller coaster.
You can do without a pool. You can settle for water in the basement.
His no.
Okay.
His
That's
wife
number
really
21.
likes a pool. She loves swimming. It's how she does her exercise.
my wife is a mermaid, actually.
Okay, well
Yeah.
that's important. My wife and I, I guess it was about 4 or 5 years ago now, we talked about moving from our condo because it had 2 long flights of stairs, and Marilyn had problems with her feet. And it took us 2 years to decide what we were going to do. Of course, we finally decided to do what she wanted to do, which is pretty inevitable as we find out.
That's right.
Thanks for just admitting that.
Women make the choices in houses. But it literally took us a couple of years to going back and forth and thinking, we're going to do this, we should do that, we shouldn't do this. And finally we got on the same page, and we built a house in Sun Prairie and are very happy with it.
And you've been doing real estate your whole life, and
Yeah.
you still struggle to like figure it out.
Yeah.
Because the process was they were in a condo. So it was like they were focused on, we'll get another condo because we're used to condo. But they also like new or really, really nice. So what was out there wasn't really great. So it was kind of like, why don't you just build a Viridian ranch? And then you have a small yard and you can hire someone to do your yard and you can build it how you want it.
And that you did a Viridian Ranch?
Yes, yes,
And was it in Smith's Crossing?
Yeah.
yes.
Is the address? No, I'm kidding.
It's right on the corner of.
We talked about that when Amy was on the show, that
Yes.
neighborhood.
Yeah.
And then like you all share like the landscape duties or whatever. I'm not sure exactly what the deal was with that.
This is a different
Yeah,
one.
this they don't share the landscape duties, but you just have someone hired that comes and basically weed whacks the yard because it's pretty small.
Yeah, we
Maybe mows it.
Yeah, he mows it.
We
but
have a yard man that takes care of the snow removal in the yard.
and that's what you pay for with a condo fee. So it's like you might as well. It's like, well, let's think out of the box. Do we need a condo? No, we can pay for somebody to come over and do that, and you don't have to pay a condo fee, and you can not have to deal with condo rules and all of that kind of stuff. So
You have to hire somebody. The first guy that Maryland deals with all of this stuff, but the first guy wound up in jail. He had a drinking problem. So this is a
You know the alternative, Roger? You could have gotten that old push mower that just
yeah,
had with
remember
no
when
engine.
you gave your daughter a push mower so she wouldn't injure herself?
So no engine on it, just had
Yeah, just get out there and start pushing, Dad. Get going.
I was going to say you would volunteer to do it.
Oh no. Just kidding, Dad.
I grew up with a push mower.
Yeah.
I did too, but mine had
on
an
80 acres, we just pushed the whole thing.
I had a push mower too, but it had
up
an
a
engine on
hill,
it.
Both ways.
both ways.
The whole not having an engine was more of the issue.
Yeah. Yeah.
You have any
Yeah.
idea what I'm talking about, Jacob?
I've seen them on TV. Leave it to Beaver or something.
Yeah.
So you can imagine Jen out there pushing, so she'd wait till the grass is this long and then try to push
I
it.
just
Yeah.
imagine it never cuts the grass evenly.
No, it was horrible. So I would be like, hey, any friend of mine that has a lawnmower, could you bring it over? So I would always negotiate people to mow my lawn for me because I was like, look at what my dad gave me. I can't mow with this thing. I probably wouldn't do a good job with a regular push mower either, to be honest, but not a super great mower.
I had a much more privileged life. We had a mower with gas.
Do you have a rider?
No.
Oh.
No. It was by the end of it, your hands are numb from like
Vibration.
Yeah. But I did get paid like $11 each
What?
time. Yeah. Yeah.
Actually, it's probably what I pay our kids. But they
Wow.
don't do it then.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but this was in the 90s. I mean, with inflation, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, we did brochures for like a penny a brochure. So
I think the grandkids are making more than that now.
yeah, you really overpay the grandkids now.
Well, it's kind of intentional.
I know. He's like, let's go to Culver's.
Yeah, free
Would
lunch
you
or
like
dinner
6 shakes before we take you home to your parents? Here you go. Whee! Mm-hmm.
Anyhow, houses.
Yeah, back to houses. Mm-hmm.
So your emotional roller coaster went from excited or depressed to excited because it came back on the market, and then reality hit,
Yeah.
and now you have to make a decision on what you want to
Yeah.
go forward with.
And we made a decision last night, and our decision is we're not going to place a bid on it because
Wah,
the
wah.
only reason I want it, I mean, besides the location is really great, there's other houses in that location, luckily, but it's the pool.
Yeah.
And I'm just like trying to
justify
why I could live in this house because of one thing, which is a pool, which in Wisconsin you can only use for a little bit of the year anyhow. So, yeah, The hunt is hard, and this market doesn't make it any easier. I mean, it's really impossible. I feel a lot of pressure. Like if I want to get a house, you gotta know right away. You can't sit on it. You gotta just know.
So what's the pressure part?
Well, the pressure is knowing right away.
Making a decision quickly.
Making a decision with you have a day or two. Like we're lucky in this situation because it was relisted or whatever. So there was like a little bit more of a gap, but a lot of houses in that price range are.
You have an hour. Make a decision. Let's go.
Yeah, basically, and there's like a month. You're going to be in a bidding war automatically, and you're going to have to go over the top, and it's a lot.
It's tough because people want to know how much over they have to bid.
Right.
A lot.
And I have no idea.
No.
And
Yeah.
I mean, I have a good idea because I see what's winning. So it's kind of like, but they're not going to like the answer.
No.
Yeah.
I had to explain to Anna the idea of like listing the house. The listing price is not the final price, and she didn't know that. And she was just so upset. She's like, what? All these houses I've been looking at, that's not actually the price they're going to sell for? I'm like, no, it's way more.
Yeah.
This whole market has flipped fairly quickly, too. It hasn't been something that's gone over time. It's been pretty quick that it's... Because last year we didn't have these issues, really. It was higher, but the demand wasn't as high.
Wow.
Last year there were competing offers, but they weren't as frantic and as over the top as they are now.
Well, there was a lot of people afraid to come out. So.
Yeah, that's right. I guess 2019 is a better example.
Yeah, same thing. A little bit more in the market.
A lot of demand, but there was not things selling 10, 20, 30, 40,000 over the asking price, and agreements to pay in excess of the appraisal and all of these features, which I have never seen before.
It wasn't too long ago before, I remember my cousin moving from Seattle and asking me about putting in an escalation clause. And I'm like, a what?
Yeah.
So it wasn't that long ago that we didn't have escalation clauses.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So the market changes and will change again.
Yep.
All right, so let's add a little bit of informative content for anybody listening. Can you explain what an escalation clause is? I don't think we talked about it on the podcast yet.
Sure. An escalation clause is, think about kind of the eBay concept where you offer a price on a house and then you say if another offer comes in and it's more than what I'm offering, my offer will now go, $1,000 or $2,000 higher than that other offer up to a certain price. So it's a way to try and beat out other offers.
If you want to buy a house, you do need a skilled, experienced agent at this point to guide you through it, because it is complicated, and other people will have agents, some of them competent, some of them not so much, and it's just a new world out there.
It's pretty incredible how we have our agents dealing with agents that don't know what we are coaching them to do. But yeah, there's definitely a difference in agents.
Yeah.
When just in different offers that have come in on like a listing that I had, in saying, okay, like we had a rental situation, so it was hard to get people in. So it's like, okay, I've got it, so you can get in from 2 to 5. Yes, I've got this. And instead of folks being like, awesome, I'll get in, or I'll have someone from my office, we'll make this happen, they were like, I can't do that.
Can't see it.
Time. Well,
And it's not their buyer that can't do it; it's the agent.
Yeah,
that
it's
do
like,
it.
no, this is it. Like, I'm personally calling you to tell you, like, this is it. We jumped through hoops of fire to have the tenants let people in. This is it. They want to see it tomorrow. No. It will be sold tomorrow.
Right.
I am telling you, but they just don't listen.
That's why it's so nice to have some of our agents covering for each other. So if somebody does have something they can't get it, another agent can step in and just do the showing for them.
Yeah.
So the buyers don't miss out on the opportunity.
And, speaking again from personal experience from yesterday, I was, in this market, a lot of times what you're going to have to do is skip the home inspection. And that was one of the points, or one of the things my wife and I were concerned about, is like, how do you buy a home without somebody looking at it to make sure, it's not going to fall apart? And so, having Matt come through and look at the house.
I'm not an inspector.
He's not an inspector, but he's experienced enough. He's been around the block enough times where he was like, yeah, look at that, look at that, look at that. And it wasn't, he's not an official inspector, but if you can't have an inspector, you might as well have somebody with experience that looks at houses all the time and can kind of help you through that and give you a little bit of peace of mind. And
Should have bought the house.
Yes. No.
My
bill's in the mail.
I sold hundreds and hundreds of houses before we had building inspectors and professional inspections. And I used to tell people that the things that you can understand about the house, the things you don't understand are in about the same condition as the things you understand about the house. People who keep their houses looking nice and in good condition, there aren't going to be any underlying problems that pop up. And if things are kind of schlocky, there are going to be lots of problems. And that's a pretty reliable rule. People who keep a nice house, you aren't going to have problems. And if it looks not too good, there are probably going to be some problems that are pretty basic.
A lot of deferred maintenance issues.
Yep.
So you can't just clean it real good right before showing.
But you can still tell.
Yeah.
There's just like little things, and it's just like, well, that room doesn't have carpet, so what happened here? It's in a basement. It's like, well, maybe it flooded. Oh, yeah, probably did. I mean, so houses tell stories. We can kind of see.
Not to call out on this house, I'm not going to say the address, but, I thought about this house a lot, and one of the three.
Really?
Yes,
a
stalker.
If I haven't told you, if this homeowner is listening, sorry, I'm calling your house out, but one of the other big things of why my wife was just like, no thank you, is because there were mouse traps everywhere.
But there were no mice.
Well, not anymore.
Yet.
Not today.
Let's go back when it's dark.
But it was one of those contraptions with the bucket and like the peanut butter. And like, I didn't look closely, but my wife was like, that peanut butter looks fresh.
It did look fresh. And there was two of them. They were like mouse death wheels with peanut butter.
Yeah. So it's like.
That is a hint.
But it's got a pool.
So you put peanut butter over the top of the pool.
And then they all
Yeah, then you're not going to have any, but they won't be inside.
You just made his wife very sad.
Yeah, she's not going to.
So how did she take the roller coaster ride?
Better than me.
Really?
She had to bring me back down to earth the whole time, because she's like, it seems irresponsible. She's like, we really want to get a pool just because, or we want to get a house. There's my Freudian slip there. You really want to get a house just because of the pool? Like, that's why? That's it? Mm-hmm. And I was like, well, but imagine. And I was just like drawing all these scenarios.
But I want it.
Mm-hmm.
So she was ultimately the one that was like, and like had to wait for
Voice of reason.
For me to come to terms. And then once I let it go, she's like, okay. But on the flip side, the positive side for us is like the urge to look into this house forced us to move the ball and get pre-approved. Mm-hmm. And that was honestly a big, I guess I'm getting real personal now, but whatever. That was a big fear of mine for a long time, is getting rejected from being pre-approved, because a couple of years ago, I was in a different situation. I was a business owner. I was in a lot of debt. We had just got married, and like, I wasn't that financially strong. And basically the lender just laughed me off the phone. So I was just not looking forward to the rejection again. But, I got so motivated, and, I've paid off tens of thousands of dollars in credit card debts, and we're in a completely different financial situation than I was at that period of time. But getting that pre-approval was such a stress relief, and made me feel so good. And now I'm like, oh, it's game time. Let's go. Mm-hmm. But actually, I do want to say this. I'm just rambling here. but it's got a point. The idea with pre-approval, I think a lot of people that are looking to buy don't understand how important it is. I didn't understand how important it was till I joined the team. I don't even know if I'd heard of it, honestly. I'm just like, oh, let's get a house. How do you get a house? I want that house. And I think
With
that's
a pool.
how I think that's how a lot of leads call in, is they're like, I want this house, and then are you pre-approved? And what's that? No, do I need that? I don't really need that, you know.
I'm good.
Yeah, but it's important in today's world.
It's certainly stressful to a lot of people because it's kind of a pass-fail exam.
Yeah.
And that's kind of scary, and particularly if you failed one.
Yeah, I've been there.
I think part of it too is the unknown.
Right.
Besides the pre-approval, it's okay. I have no idea where to start or where to go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But once you get that pre-approval, the lender's like, well, here's this, you're looking at, he was interested in one particular house that I was interested in. He's like, you're totally set for that. And then I had to push him, like, how far can I go with the budget here? And he gave me a range, and he's like, well, this would be kind of the limit where I wouldn't be comfortable. But it made me feel so much better. I'm like, oh, this is where I stand. Now I know what to shop for. Before it was just kind of all over the board, and I was clueless.
It helps to ask a realtor who would be a good lender to, because some lenders are much better than others.
Yeah.
Jacob did follow that rule.
I do work for a real estate company, so it's a little easier than the average person, but I certainly did that. Yeah.
He kind of came in and he was like, I need to talk to you. And we were on like a Zoom call. So we're like, okay, we'll be over in a second. And I went over there.
I was thinking
and he's
something
like,
blew
I
up.
want a house. And I'm like, oh, okay. I'm like, here's what we got to do.
I seem to
So-
remember me having to sell a Jeep for us to buy our first house. So my mom actually owned a Jeep for a period of 2 months.
Yeah, we
still
we
tells
had
me
a
about
hard
that.
time getting a loan for our first house because we didn't make any money.
I think my mom still has the license plates hanging in the garage.
My parents had to sell, they won a jet ski from Z104.
Yes.
Yeah, and they had to sell their jet ski as the down payment for their house.
Wah, wah, wah.
It's okay. They didn't know how to use a jet ski. They got it full of seaweed and stuff and backed it up. It never worked. So it was a good call. Really good call.
Well, all the things you have to do. I mean, it's a process, and it's kind of like in your rules where you just have to begin. It's like, okay, now we've got past that. Well, that was scary, but I did it, and now on to the next. So
And you
we'll
start
get her
the roller
done.
coaster. That was the beginning of the roller coaster ride.
Woohoo!
But you want to be a homeowner.
Absolutely.
I sold a house earlier in the year for a lady. She and her husband, a house 20-some years ago, and they had 5 kids, and he left shortly thereafter, and she had a modest income and wasn't able to do all of the repairs immediately that needed to get done. And when we came to sell it, it didn't look too super, but she walked out of the closing with a check for over $100,000.
Nice.
And this is what happens. Prices appreciate.
Right.
And if you hang in there, the prices will appreciate, and you're going to walk out of there with a check someday.
Just think of the people now that are cashing in on all these houses.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable. I think one person on our team has an accepted offer on her house. The amount of money that she made above and beyond what she listed it for is incredible.
And we had the conversation, and she's like, is it that amount? And I'm like, yeah. She's like, well, for real, for real? I'm like, for real, for real.
You know what your daughter's trying to do, Roger? She's talking about selling our house. It does not have a pool, Jacob. Sorry.
It's okay. It's a cottage
Yep.
grove. It's too
We're
far.
going to live in your basement. We're coming.
With the
It's really
boomerangers.
close to the office.
Well, that's true. That's true.
Will be really great. We'll bring in your groceries.
We'll let you borrow the grandkids.
We could do your lawn. Matt could do it.
Kaden could.
He's like, and next topic.
Next topic.
Do you guys know where you want to move?
No.
We have no idea where we're going.
But we've been telling people it's like it's a great time to sell. So we're like, let's take advantage of this market.
Sure.
So, because I mean, we will sell not too long from now. I mean, we would have just because our house is too big. So it's kind of like we have all of the space that we don't use. So it's like, well, let's get something that fits better,
I keep telling the kids we're going to move and not tell them where we move to.
which is not true.
Are they coming with? Are you going to blindfold them? And
Well,
No, they're coming.
blindfold them.
They're coming.
get in the van.
Every time they go and come, we have to blindfold and put a hood over their head. Open the garage door, they have hoods on.
You
No,
can visit sometimes
this
under these
isn't
conditions.
happening. You
Okay.
guys.
Fine.
But yeah, no. So it's an adventure. But in doing this process, it forces us to see what our clients go through. So Matt, Mr. Spreadsheet, has a spreadsheet of everything that we need to get done and all of the contractors that we need in. And we have taken care of our home. It's just there's always little things and whatnot, or a bird decides to get into your stucco and just. So if anybody does stucco, we need you. But yeah, it's a process. So we're doing it again.
Yeah, how do you feel about that?
I'm excited.
I'm not as excited. There's a lot of stuff to get rid of.
I know some good stagers
Yeah.
and lenders if you have any contacts.
Yeah, you got hookups?
Yeah.
My coach, I have after I'd been in the real estate business for 50 years, I hired a consultant to help me understand the business because it was changing. Nobody answered their phone anymore, which was a kind of a key element. And he says that the big increase in prices is going to stick. They aren't going to go down.
Not for a year or two.
And
No.
of course, nobody knows for sure. But he cites chapter and verse of past situations, and of course, in this market, the only time we've ever had prices dropping was in 2007, 8, and 9.
Yeah.
And other than that, there's always been appreciation, and it has continued. And this is a very, very strong market. Dane County, the new census showed that Dane County gained 55,000 people
There's nowhere to go. That's why the prices are driven up.
in the last 10 years. And so there's people coming in, and you drive around, there's a lot of construction going on, so that people have to have a place to live. That's why we got a shortage. So many people coming in want to live here.
And it's not just single-family homes. It's apartments, too.
Sure.
So it's, housing in general.
Yep.
And then you'll have all the people that are renting that will then want to buy houses.
Yep.
So I don't see this slowing down.
Nope.
So get on the home ownership trail, which is tough, particularly for first-time home buyers. It is sad to see how difficult it is to buy your first house, and hopefully the market will almost certainly slow down after the 4th of July, and for prospective home buyers, that's probably a better time to get into the market when there isn't so much activity, August, September, October, November, December, January, which are not ideal times. But for the houses out there, there's not a fabulous amount of competition in December and January. And
Maybe.
maybe.
But that's where we usually see our drop, is those months, and I don't think we're going to see that drop. I think it's going to be flatlined. I think it's going to stay high. I don't think we'll see a rise, but I think it'll be consistent.
Maybe it will. You never know.
There's no break for you this year. Sorry.
That's
No vacation, sorry.
Sorry.
that's-
Keep working.
That's all right.
What time is it?
That's all right. I worked all of 2020 because there was nothing else to do. all the sporting, baseball, basketball, football, all canceled. Church canceled. Parties, funerals, weddings, everything was canceled, and so I worked.
What did your coffee mug say?
Coffee because adulting is hard.
How's adulting going for you, Raj?
Yeah, how's that worked out for you?
Pretty well. My granddaughter Vanessa gave that to me for Christmas.
There you go. All good. Mm.
If it suits you.
You playing a game?
I don't know. The game I had in mind is a lot of work. I don't know if I can, because I got to pull up stats real fast on the fly, and I feel it's too much pressure.
As much pressure as buying a house?
It's a lot of pressure.
Well, we could just kind of run through some of those scenarios. I mean, I don't know if you have an idea, but say,
Just pick your house you grew up in.
yeah. So the house on Knightsbridge, which just recently, I believe, sold for it was priced at $299,900, and it sold for over that. Like, what did you buy that for when you bought it in whatever it was, 77?
I don't remember.
Mm-hmm. But what should the price have been? Like, if you're thinking, like,
maybe 175 or something like that would strike me as about the right price.
What if you can pull up the history on it?
You can
on
Paragon.
Yeah, you can find out what it sold for.
well,
I'm not sure if we'll go back. Oh, maybe.
I thought when you sold it, when you guys moved, I thought you sold it for like $99,900.
Maybe my mother, bless her soul, in her latter years declined somewhat, and any question you ask her, she would say, "I don't remember." I said, "Mother, you can fake it. You don't have
That's my go-to from now on.
You don't have to say to everything, I can't remember." So I've tried to train myself not to say I can't remember.
Mm-hmm.
What
was the address?
I fake most things I do.
Mm-hmm.
You just got to be confident and aggressive.
That's
15
right.
to 20% more.
That's right.
Yeah. So when were houses like $30,000?
$30,000.
Mm-hmm.
We bought one 7-8 years ago for that.
Yeah, came complete with dead birds.
You bought a house 7-8 years ago for $30,000.
Yeah.
That was trashed.
Did the
Yeah.
dead birds increase or decrease the value of the property?
Increased at that point.
When I started out selling new homes in the Elvium School District, and if I recall correctly, a 3-bedroom ranch with a 1-car garage was $18,900.
That's 18,900.
That's right.
My
And
car costs more.
Yeah.
I sold a few crappy houses down toward downtown for 9, 10, 11,000.
Those crappy houses now are,
Gajillions.
yeah.
Yeah.
So perspective. But if you bought back then and you hung on to it, you're making bank.
Yep.
Like, for example, when we purchased the property on John's, remember when you decided to do an LLC with us and we were going to be investors, and then we bought that for $89,900, I think, and then
98?
maybe, but
Yeah,
then we
whatever.
said we're going to buy some more, and you were like, "Oh no, we don't want to buy any more." You know how much John's is worth now, Dad?
It's probably worth $270.
Yeah, I think the tax assessment is like $230, but it would probably go
250,
$270, yeah, depending on the bidding war. But
So we bought that. I think it was, when did we buy that?
thanks for buying us out.
I think we bought that in 99. Does that sound right?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
So it's taken, 21 years to get to that point, but
But that area down there is hot to trot. So
What I can't get my head around is how prices have gone up so much in the past year.
yes.
And then everybody just keeps saying they're not going back down. They're just staying. And like, so in my head, I'm just like, how can prices increase? Like, there's not that many new babies out there. Like, how did this demand happen where it's like it's just not going down anymore? Like, it goes up that fast and stays.
Well, this part of the reason is all of the people coming into Dane County, the 55,000 people who came in. during the last decade, and there are people who are getting into their 30s who are buying houses. They want to have kids, and so the demand is there. Anytime you're doing economic analysis, you can find different opinions and different ideas as to why this is happening and what's going to happen in the future. And nobody really knows for sure, of course. But projecting from the current situation, this is a very, very strong economy in Dane County, and so there's no reason to think that it's probably not going to continue, although it could change with all of the non-in-person education. It could happen that major universities start losing residential students because people stay home and they watch it on Zoom or whatever technological apparatus is available, and so you got fewer students, you got fewer professors, you got fewer research projects, and so this could happen. Probably won't happen, but
I'm pretty happy about people working from home. That just means they have to buy a home to work from.
Well, that's right.
And luckily they want to be here.
Yeah, I sold a house to a couple who were working from home during COVID, and they discovered that they liked it, and their employer was good with it. They could work from home permanently, so I sold their house, and we bought another one that was more suitable for them to work permanently from home.
I think people are moving to where they want to versus where they need to.
Yeah.
So people have the option now to move where they want to live and then just work from wherever that might be.
Mm-hmm. There are going to be a lot of people who are only going in 2 or 3 days a week, right, and are working from home. And there'll be employers who say everybody in every day too, but there's going to be less demand for office space. We aren't in the business of selling office buildings, but there's got to be a drop in those values.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Things are changing fast.
Just got to be ready to pivot.
Pivot.
Where does that even come from?
Friends.
Where they're trying to move a couch up a staircase.
Oh.
And they're trying to pivot around a corner.
Pivot.
Got it.
Pivot. Come on, man. You knew that, didn't you?
No, I didn't. I just know you guys say it a lot. Like every podcast.
You're like, why are they always
It's
talking?
always like, pivot. Like, all right, we're saying pivot.
I've never heard it, which demonstrates that I'm culturally unaware.
Well, that's okay. Luke didn't know who Dolly Parton was, so.
Yeah,
Didn't know who Dolly Parton was.
right?
Well, most of my clients tend to be older people, and I put out a promotional piece once that said, if you know who Jack Benny is, I can help you.
There you go. That works. So,
Would
marketing
you like to
guy.
pull up that marketing guy.
There you go.
I don't know who that is.
Google it.
He's probably on a baseball card or in a movie
Nope.
or a song.
Yep.
Was
he a comedian?
Three.
Jack Benny was comedian.
Yeah. Nailed it.
I was wrong on all three. I know the name. It's been a minute since I listened to Jack Benny, though.
Podcast.
No.
We'll have a Jack Benny episode, I guess.
Why don't we have a Dolly Parton episode?
Yeah, I'm sure you can get Jack Benny episodes.
I thought you were going to say, I'm sure you can get Jack Benny on.
Yeah. No, maybe not on. He's not on as a guest. We'll have to have like a seance.
Oh, not doing that either.
No.
October's going to be fun.
Yeah. Who would you like to have on? Let's call them now. No. we're not
George
doing-
Burns.
No. Mm-mm. All right. Well, I think we've pretty much hit all of our topics. So I thank you for joining us.
Yeah,
Well,
it's fun.
It was
A
a
lot of fun.
pleasure.
Let's do
Thank
more
you for
often.
asking me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was great. All right. That's my cue.
It's your cue.
Let's do this.
Hit the button.
All right. Thanks for tuning in to another episode of It's Gonna Be Great. If you're looking to buy or sell real estate in South Central Wisconsin, you know who to call. Home Team, the number 4, letter U.com. All right. Until next time. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.